There we are. I had to find the mute button first. Well, good evening. This is Reverend Sharon, and I'll be flying solo this evening, but this particular broadcast will be in the archives for those who are interested in listening and being there. This is You Are a Healer, and You Are a Healer has a couple of projects, a couple of additional programs coming up. In the future, we're going to be doing uh, Qigong and offering that as a class, and we'll do an exercise of Qigong this evening. Also, we will have wing makers perhaps next week, where we go into detail about what the wing makers are, who they are, where are they from, what does that mean to you. In the meantime, we will start out this evening with a bit of Qigong, just a little. Um, if you're in a position where you can sit right at the moment, do that. Lowering your eyelids, raising the eyes behind the eyelids up to that portal in between your eyebrows. In Qigong, the recognition rather, of the male and the female energy is perhaps not what we may used to or be used to in the Western culture. If you're a female, put your left hand over your right hand, and both hands, palms facing your abdomen, directly in front of the abdomen. If you're able to take your shoes off, that's a good thing. Always nice to feel the earth under your feet if that's possible. Breathing in through the nostrils, filling the abdomen as you breathe, allowing your abdomen to extend as you breathe in. Holding that breath for as long as you possibly can. For the purpose of this evening, we'll hold the breath for 3 seconds. In releasing the breath through the mouth, as you release, saying the and as you're releasing, bringing the extension of the abdomen in, you're going to be decompressing. Okay, so we will practice this uh, so that you get the hang of it just for a moment. Remember, you're in position, eyelids lowered, eyes up towards the third eye portal. If you're female, the left hand. And in every culture I've studied, for some reason, the female is associated with the left, whether it's Kabbalah, Hindu, Buddhism, in this case, Qigong. It's all good. And take in the breath as much as you can, holding for the count of 3, extending the stomach as much as you can because you're taking in a full complement of oxygen. Releasing this breath through parted lips, decompressing the stomach. And as you do so, bringing in the Om sound. Om. And we're going to do that for 7 different times. Bringing in the breath through the nostrils, holding for the count of 3, releasing through parted lips. Om. In again through the nostrils, releasing through parted lips. Om. Once again, in through the nostrils, releasing through parted lips. Om. Again, in through the nostrils, holding for the count of 3, and releasing. Om. Do not stop. Regain your breath through the nostrils, releasing. Om. As you extend your abdomen while inhaling through the nostrils, allowing yourself to recognize that you are a part of your breath, releasing. Om. We count to 3. We inhale, extending, enlarging our abdomen, allowing that breath of life to inflate, to push forward, releasing, deflating, bringing the stomach into position. Om. And finally, last breath, in this exercise at least, holding for the count of 3, releasing, deflating, allowing that breath to come out through parted lips with an om, a resounding om. And rest. Before I get into this evening's talk, which is on the Stargate that we've experienced called the sun, just a word about reciting mantras. There was a mantra I used from the emerald tablets. It is known also as a Kemet or Kemetic word, meaning it's from Egypt. Kemet, Egypt. It is a word that was used back during the time of the Atlantean period and passed on into the Egyptian period. And yes, Egypt and Atlantis did exist at the same time. And we can go into that historical factor at some point in the future. Right now, we're going to focus on, and this is a very important mantra. We're going to focus on Zin, Z-I-N, Ur, Uru. You are you. This is a word described in the Emerald Tablets by uh, the teacher, the master, Hermes, as a word that can be used to determine, to expose, rather, those among us who are not actually human. Yes, I did say that. Apparently, the vibration of the energy uh, from the sound of this word, when recited in a humble fashion. And remember, we're all frequencies of energy. The frequency of this energy allows for the exposure of the humanoids, or those who appear to be humanoids that are among us. Yes, I went there again. Okay, that will be on another program where we go deeper into uh, the fact that there are beings within this matrix that are not humans. They perhaps may be humanoid, but they're not humans in the sense that we're familiar with. So, this word, we're going to recite it just for a moment. I use this and have been using this meditation, this mantra, for quite some time now. And I find it to be very productive. I used it on Monday when I was gazing into the eclipse and received some very important information. So I'm sharing this now with those who will be tuning into this particular broadcast at some point in time. And we begin. Zen Yoru, 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 Zen Yoru. It's not or should not be difficult to pronounce. If you have a challenge with it pronouncing it, perhaps there's a question or two you may want to have about your DNA. Just kidding. Your DNA is fine. However, this is an excellent meditation to go into. Uh, the longest recitation I've heard of it, has been approximately 11 minutes. When I was gazing into the eclipse, I think I spent perhaps 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. The time frame doesn't matter, though I would suggest at least 5 minutes for a good solid meditation. At least five. Any meditation that you're willing to, excuse me, willing to take part of should go for at least 5 minutes. I realize that everyone is busy these days and confronting and battling with things that they've never encountered before. everyone is having a moment or two to recalibrate their own self-esteem and self-worth. So meditation is definitely in order. And it doesn't matter if you follow the Dalai Lama, Maharishi, Transcendental Meditation, Siddha Yoga, Baba Muktananda, Kabbalah has meditation. Okay. Does not matter what you call it, as long as you take a moment and do it. The practice is necessary for you to continue to reach your highest level of ascension, or whatever level of ascension you're directing yourself towards. Now, about that stargate that we call a sun, it was at its peak formation on Monday. In its assistance, or rather the assistance coming through the activation of light, of the consciousness of the human format that we are. The activation that took place on Monday assisted the enhancement of our ascension. I'm sure that there are a lot of you that are aware of the fact that the sun is a portal. It's not just a star, it is a stargate. And through that stargate, there are beings that not only exist, but it is an opportunity for those who are familiar with our sun disk to go forth into another solar system. Okay. No, I'm not joking. Yes, I did say that. There are portals of interdimensional or for interdimensional travel all over this planet. It may be news to some of us, but not all of us. What took place on Monday was sort of like, say, for instance, when you, or if you drive and you're familiar with charging your batteries, you hook them up to another battery in a car. I know about cables and things. No, I don't drive, but I know what a cable generator can do for a car battery. And basically, that's what took place on Monday. I know about the recommendation to not look into the eclipse. I, however, did that. Something that I've done before with previous eclipse. My eyesight is fine, by the way. I don't have a problem with it. However, when the beings that are in the portal or the sun disk uh, or the stargate, however you want to refer to it, make contact or try to communicate with us on or from that level, if we don't look up or at least at the aura of the stargate, we might miss out on what they're trying to present to us and how they're trying to assist us in breaking the codes that are set up in that matrix. So, the golden beings that are there, and I did see at least 4 of them on Monday. Uh, I'm not alone. That's why I'm mentioning that. I'm not the only one. I had at least one call from another psychic medium. And as we got to talking on Monday, uh, about what we observed. It was like, you saw that too. This was someone who also had no problem with looking at the eclipse itself. In, in Florida, it did not go to the darkness. There was more or less a silhouette of the moon crossing the sun. And so while the sun was at its peak in brightness, there was not that submergence or emergence, if I'm using the right term, that took place in some areas. But we did have an opportunity to see a percentage of it here in Florida. And so those that took the time to look up into the eclipse itself, yes, uh, contact was made by a golden being of light who was just amazing. And those who didn't look up, but they looked around the sun and was able to just feel that energy that came up and out of the sun itself. It was fantastic. They were able to see strands of golden light, and that took place here between 1 to about 4:30 p.m. During that time, most people that talked to me were familiar with the opportunity to sit outside, to hold your crystals, to go into meditation, to chant mantras if that's what occurred to you, and to release whatever no longer served your purpose for your highest good. This was an opportunity to release that which no longer serves you, whether it's illness or a sense or a feeling of lack, frustration, depression, uh, anything that does not serve you or serve your highest good, relationships, whether it's at work or at home, friendships. I don't believe in enemies. I believe people go up against each other because of their lack of understanding. And so they carry fear. But in reality, there is no one. Even if that person decides to design a plan to overcome you for some reason, they're not dealing with you personally. Okay? Because that which is you personally is untouchable. That which in you, within you, cannot be destroyed. You are an infinite being, a sovereign integral. Your essence cannot be destroyed, cannot die. Now we're told that we reincarnate or that we go to heaven, um, and these are things that can be questioned. Because if you can continue through reincarnation, or you can continue by going to heaven or going to the opposite, what does that tell you? That tells you that you survive the physical form. Okay? No one that you know or have encountered in this lifetime, in this timeline, can destroy the essence of you. Surely they can do things to your physical apparition. And that, again, would be only if you allow so. So here we have an essence that can continue on into other lifetimes or into a heaven, or depending on your religious background, into purgatory. Wake up, my dears, my beloved ones. A soul that can do that cannot be killed. You don't die. Perhaps you're given a different uniform. Perhaps you decide to come back. This time you're an Asian. The next time you're African. The next time you're an Anglan, or am I pronouncing that? Anglo-Saxon. Bottom line, you are immortal. Your essence is immortal. What you plan to do with that is another story altogether. In recognizing the opportunity to gaze at the eclipse, there was also the opportunity, and still is the opportunity, to write down that which you claim, but that which you accept in your life now. It's a great time to upgrade your self-esteem, because what came through that particular portal on that day was an energetic frequency that is assisting you in aligning all of the portals of light within you so that you may continue with the activation of your ascension. You received an upgrade. Whether or not you look directly at the sun, you received an upgrade. And that's something that you can take now onto a higher level of understanding within yourself. Aha, I've got some additional energy now towards my highest goals. And you can write out whatever your highest goals are. And you still have the opportunity. I believe this week is the week of the new moon. And so you can write out your opportunities, that which you desire, that for your highest good. Include in that desire the uplifting of humanity. This is something that we don't do as a rule, at least not as a group. I was pleased to be able to participate with the Shift Network during that time frame. That particular day, it seemed as if every soul on the planet was seeking the guidance and the opportunity to be in a global circle of prayer and meditation. Now, just because Monday is gone, that does not mean your opportunity is gone. Monday should have been more or less the flag. What is the flag that they use in racing? The checkered flag. To get you started within your personal life. If you don't have a routine for meditation, now is an excellent time to start one. I have rekindled my studies in Qigong, and as soon as one of my favorite Tai Chi masters comes back from vacation, I'll be able to go back into that full force. But I do practice as often as possible in my own backyard. If you have the opportunity, practice yoga, practice whatever it takes that will assist you in recollecting your focus. Recollecting is a good word. It's an operable word. Being able to identify yourself from within does not require a single tool other than your heart, the greatest tool of all. And breathe, because as you listen to this information, hopefully it will assist you in continuing the activation of your ascension. I share nothing with you that would ever harm you. My desire, and it has always been such, from the moment I learned Reiki, 10 years ago, and have been practicing it ever since, has been to be of service, has been to be whatever it takes as a messenger to assist those who desire to continue their search, whatever you call your path or your journey, whatever modality you follow. It is one of the reasons I have studied so many different modalities, to be able to be of assistance, not just in my journey, but in the journey of others. I don't do this for fame or fortune, without question. And I'm always surprised if someone recognizes me or remembers my name, because that's not my intention. If a word, any word, a phrase or a sentence that I may share with you triggers something within you to continue your journey, to expand upon that which is for your highest good, to assist you in achieving the brilliance that you are as an infinite being. I am blessed. I feel that blessing within myself, whether or not it's attributed to a higher form or a deity or to guardian angels. No, I don't attribute it to that. I attribute it to my desire to simply be of service. And as and when I practice Reiki, I do it with the desire for whoever may be the recipient to receive it for their own highest good. Back to the stargates, of which an eclipse is. It's a stargate of major importance. If for whatever reason you missed Monday's event, as the sun shines in the morning, sunrise, take a moment. If you're as lucky as I am, you'll be somewhere nearby an ocean that you can get to, and you'll be able to watch the sunrise over the ocean. If not, you can watch it rise over the mountains or your house or wherever it is that you are. If it's your first time observing the rising of the sun. I suggest 45 seconds and continue the practice until you can sustain it for the duration of at least a minute at a time. Since I've been doing it for a few years, I let's see, my longest record, uh, 10, 15 minutes. It depends. And then I rest my eyes and then I go at it again. It depends on what time of the day. But I am aware of individuals who have been able to go out into the midday, the noonday sun. These have been shamans, of which I hold in great reverence, who've been able to go out and stare up and talk to the beings in the sun in the midday without any harm to their eyes. But again, this takes a certain amount of determination. This takes focus. It takes practice. It takes doing the work. So I would not suggest that you go out and do it for the first time in the midday and expect uh, to make immediate contact and rest your eyes. You can also initiate this at sunset. Oh my God, the sunsets here in Florida are breathtaking. And again, if it's your first time, sunrise or sunset are the most productive, and they're more convenient for some people going to work. Even on your way to work, you can start getting your eyes into the practice. What this does is it begins to trigger an activation of your ascension. Your light body begins to connect your portals or chakras, as they're more commonly known as. You have over 250 of them, and you don't give them light. And light is what they live on. But however, as you gaze upon the sunrise or the sunset, direct the energy into your heart. You see, the heart holds the key. It is a part of the grand architect's scale in the building, the design of this matrix. And in liberating your heart, bringing it up to specs, as it were, you will find that it's easier for you to release things that no longer serve you. Unforgiveness is at the top of the list, priority-wise, of something that you should release from your being. If you're holding a grudge or a resentment towards anyone or everyone, release it into the sun. Remember, it's a portal. You've heard me say release things into the light. Well, focus that imagery onto the stargate we know as the sun. Releasing unforgiveness to yourself. The Ho'oponopono prayer, of which I'm familiar, it comes from he's now a shaman, considered a shaman in high regard of the Hawaiian tradition. His name is Dr. Lee. But the prayer itself was brought into the attention of the Western mind through Dr. Joe Vitale, one of the authors of the book, The Secret, a book and video, practicing the Ho'oponopono. If that's a challenge, the unforgiveness is a challenge with you, it's perfect. You release, forgive, and let go. And the premise of this prayer, as you say it, as you recite it, to anyone to whom you may feel that you've done some sort of damage, and whether or not you may have actually done something to harm someone else. The prayer, as it's recited, goes, please forgive me. I am sorry. I love you. I thank you for being in my life. I bless you. I honor you. Please forgive me. And this, and if you go online, check out the Ho'oponopono prayer, or check out the Joe Vital website, Dr. Vital, Vital, I believe is the spelling. I believe the prayer is on YouTube. And take your time. Whenever gazing into the sun, remember you're breathing. And as we practiced a bit earlier, that is a Qigong method of breathing in, but it's also practiced in Buddhism and in yoga. Palms facing the abdomen, lower abdomen. Eyelids lowered. Eyes behind the eyelids directed up towards the third eye portal. If you're a woman, the left hand goes in front of the right hand. And you breathe in through the nostrils, extending the abdomen, filling it to capacity, holding it for as long as you can. And if you're doing this in a vehicle, I don't suggest it. But taking yourself apart from the distractions, releasing the air as you release it, deflating the abdomen, releasing the air through parted lips, the breath through parted lips. This is an excellent, excellent technique. And if you desire a mantra, the Om is good. Om Namah Shivaya. For those who listen to me on a regular basis, they know that that's my favorite. That's what I learned in the ashram. And so this is something to assist you. Because, like it or not, we're all going through a period of ascension right now. There are those who don't realize it, but they fight the activation that's going on. If a headache comes, or say a bit of diarrhea comes in, or something that makes you feel as if you have a cold and you know that you don't have one, don't treat it as if it's a medical symptom. Treat it for what it is. Your body adjusting, your body recalibrating into this matrix, or out of this matrix actually. And of course, since we are going through that period where the biochemical structure of the body is changing, there's going to be a few glyphs, as they say, You may be overwhelmingly hungry at certain times. And then again, you may have no hunger at all, no desire for food whatsoever. If your body requires a bit of fasting, that's a good thing. If you are suddenly finding that you have urges for certain things, check out what the urges are about. If they're all sugar based, then you definitely need to start dropping sugar from your menu. You can supplement honey. Honey is an excellent substitute, and it usually satisfies the appetite. If you find yourself delving for protein, you may want to check to see whether or not your regular diet contains enough protein, enough fiber, shall we say. These are things that your body is trying to adjust you to because your body is getting a new body. No, you're not going to suddenly drop the one that you have, but you are going to find yourself able to do a few things that you weren't able to do before, and you may have to check yourself on a few things that you thought there was no problem in doing that before, and now you've got to work a little harder at it. That's okay. It's all a part of the natural system of clearing our energies from the matrix that we have been in for so long. You may find a desire to be alone more. You may start feeling the frequencies of the energies, the vibrations of energies from other people. In that case, your empathic abilities are developing at a rapid pace. And we're all basically empathic, some at different levels than others. You notice I'm not saying higher because eventually uh, those who complete their ascension are going to find that language it will be a second form of communication. Telepathic abilities will increase. But in order to get to that point, we do need to clear out quite a few things. The way we feel about ourselves and the way we feel about others. That all comes into recognition. Our DNA strands are reconnecting. And to tell you the truth, children that have been born in the last, let's say, 10, 20 years, from the 90s to 2000, any child born after the year 2000 has abilities that say we didn't have or were not recognized. And uh, the word or the term dumbed down is very, very popular right now. I don't think that everybody that uses that term means the same thing, but that's okay also, because basically what it means is that we're waking up. Yes, we've been asleep for quite some time, but we are waking up. We are reaching that point where we recognize or realize ourselves to be more than who we believe ourselves to be, and that we are a part of a continuum, and that as we continue to wake up, we each have particular abilities or gifts that we can use to serve those who haven't reached that point yet. So being of service is a good thing. And as far as people who are in the business of asking for monies for their services, this is not a judgment. It's all good. However you feel your services are worth, whatever you feel they're worth, then that is what they are worth. However, I also stand strongly behind the teaching of people learning to use the abilities they have, in opposed to falling back on the construct that we've been programmed with to depend on others to assist in our healing process. We can heal ourselves. This takes focusing on the heart, bringing the heart into full connection with all of the other portals or chakras within our being, and we can assist others who are not yet at that level on the path, but we're not doing the work for them, you see. They must do that work for themselves in order for the healing to take place. Otherwise, it's nothing. We do nothing. We're only transferring energy for the healing of someone else to take place. That person has to do the work. That person has to allow that connection within themselves to take place. And then voila. And those of us who are sensitive to that, who pledge to be of service, and who are aware of the different frequencies. Remember, we're all healers, just some more familiar with the frequencies of energies than others at this particular point in time. We can sense, this is the empathic mode. We can sense when energy is being taken from us without our sharing it, willingly. Let's step back into scripture for a moment. Um, there is a story about the woman with the issue of blood who touches the garment of Yeshua. Forgive me, I just can't call him anything but Yeshua. I'm sorry. I was raised with the term Jesus, but I bit the apple, folks. The apple from the tree that I wasn't supposed to bite. And so now that I am aware of what his name actually was, it's difficult for me to call him anything else. However, when, to continue the story, this woman touched not him but his garment, he was aware of the energy that was being pulled back. That's because he had reached a point where his auric field could sense that there was an ebb in the energy. We each have an auric field. Our hearts have auric fields. We have more than one heart, and each heart has an auric field. We have a light body, a physical body, an astral body, a spiritual body, and forgive me, I always forget the last one, but we have at least five. I believe it's the casual body. Each of these bodies have a heart and an auric field that coexists with the other. And this ascension activation that's going on is allowing us to connect all of those mainframes into one. We think of ourselves in terms of separation. We separate within our minds and in our hearts ourselves from the continuum. It's all one. We separate ourselves from God. We place the essence of God's source out there somewhere above us, untouchable. When in reality, as sovereign integrals, we and divine source, God, Goddess, Father, Mother, are one. This knocking at the door, this awakening that's taking place, is awakening that source within us. At this particular point in time, our best method of operation, MO, is to observe what's going on. Apathy? No. Detachment? Yes. Acquiring another form of religiosity called positivity? No. Compassion? Yes. And one can be compassionate and detached at the same time. And if you think I've taken us off the point that I'm making, no, not really. Monday was another opportunity during the eclipse to allow our hearts to connect with divine source using the portal of the Stargate that we call the sun. In retrospect, we can use that portal at any time because that portal is where the codes for this matrix come from. Yes, the matrix that keeps this planet on the course that it is currently on. The design for it comes through the Stargate, the portal known as the sun. Why this is so, don't ask me. Do your research. Check out whatever it is you check out to discover the why of that. Trust me, if you go online and uh, type in Stargates, ask for portals, and if the sun is a Stargate, you will have more information than you can possibly ask for. Like me, I prefer libraries and books, of which I have more than enough at the moment. But what's on the internet can confirm what I'm saying or not. Go in and do your research. Don't go by my word, as my mother used to say. Uh, my mouth is not a prayer book. And even prayer books can be in error sometimes. As a matter of fact, I caught a couple of errors earlier in a prayer book that I like to refer to. That's part of the challenge of being a part of the program. The program that tells us that we need certain things that we don't need. What we truly need is to get in touch with our hearts. Allow our hearts to resonate with divine love. And I was asked, I believe it was last week, what is love? Oh, there's so many concepts of love. One can only postulate. One that I like to refer to is the feeling that a mother or a father has when they first come in contact with their firstborn as a baby. The overwhelming feeling of that smaller life form upon your chest. It gives you, there are no words, absolutely no words to describe the exaltation in holding that first child and children in general. Depends on how you perceive it. Thinking along those lines, your first experience of anything, if it is of joy, it gives you an emotional charge that can activate your heart muscles. However, sitting in the silence and connecting with higher source, that is a divine opportunity to feel the true essence of love as it comes from the design architect and creator of our essence in this body we call the human form. It is now 8:32. One of my uh, what is it they call it when you say you make a decision? One of my decisions until the end of the year is to not overstay my time, and so I am going to sign off with the chiming of the Tibetan bowls, bringing forth a frequency of vibration that hopefully will assist in the calibration and alignment of my own chakras and perhaps of yours as well. I honor you and bless you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry for not having been here before, for having not been available for service before now. But I'm here now, and I hold you at the highest level of appreciation, for you are an invincible spiritual being having a unique experience in this dimension. God bless you and keep you. May your face shine with the brilliance of who you truly are. Om Shanti Shanti. Namaste. I am, we are.